Okay, we are recording.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. I am Silvana Corwin. I'm our current Kingdom Minister of Children for the Kingdom of Ansteora, and tonight I'm going to be going over the duties and responsibilities of the Kingdom Minister of Children. This is actually my second time holding this position. I'm very grateful that I got to be selected again for this. It's a really good way to serve the kingdom and be a part of everything that's going on. Uh, that being said, there's a lot more to it than just, hanging out with kids all day. Um, some of the bigger responsibilities, quick overview. Um, where did my thing go? Sorry. One of the number one things you're going to do is promote education, history, and mentorship. You're also going to be training deputies, keeping children safe. That's probably the number one top priority, actually. Submitting award recommendations, maintaining a reference library. Another kind of responsibility you got to watch out for is pacing yourself and knowing when to step down. That's actually crucial for probably any position you hold. Writing and filing reports, and then overseeing the planning of children's activities at events, and then and occasionally overseeing children's activities at demos, depending on how that functions. So when you're promoting education, history, and mentorship, that's essentially the number one thing that we're doing as Kingdom Ministers of Children. Parents are going to look to you. Children are going to look to you. If a new family happens to come into your local group, chances are your hospitaller is going to direct them your way, just to let them know, like, hey, oh, you have children here. This is the person that's going to handle things at events and things of that nature. So something definitely good to keep in mind is that through things like that, you're probably going to become a type of mentor, especially if kids are part of your local group for a good while. Another thing you do as a kingdom, some of this kind of bleeds over between kingdom, regional, and local. So, but one of the big things you want to do as a kingdom and at any level is to become, once you're in that position, is to train deputies. We are required per corpora that we have, in order to have children's activities, you have to have at least 2 people. And one of those 2 people has to be the official minister of children and has to have a background check. Having a deputy is really helpful in having somebody able to be with you. They don't necessarily have to have a background check per se. Maybe they don't want to go through that process yet, or for whatever reason, but at least that way you have somebody that can assist you for when you're doing activities and things. It definitely really helps. Oh, hello.
Yeah, you got people joining.
Hi, people. So when you want to train your deputies, ideally you want them to be warrantable, which means they can get a background check and they can become an MOC in their own right. But that is not a requirement to have a deputy or for someone to become a deputy. It is just very, very helpful. Another big thing, this is primarily when you're doing activities at an event, is keep children safe. Don't maybe leave sharp objects laying around like big scissors or something for small children. Keep an eye on those, things like that. No matter what activities, you have to make sure there are at least 2 adults. And the 2 adults cannot be related by blood or significant relationship. The other thing is children 12 and under are kind of well, not 12 and under, children ages 5 to 12 fall under the purview of the MOC office. So a parent can leave their 5-year-old with you, and your second person, of course, at a child for children's activities. They can sign them in and sign them out. They can also leave children all the way up to 12. The ideal thing is at that point, that age range, children are meant to be within eyesight and earshot of their parents at all times. After the age of 13 and up, hopefully most kids by 13 are able to comport themselves in a more mature fashion and things of that nature. So, but that's kind of the purview of what we go to is 5 to 12. 4 and under are welcome. However, you need to ask the parents to stay with you. A big thing is, especially at events and during children's activities, and part of keeping children safe is if a child has to go to the bathroom, take the entire group with you, take your second person with you. If there's a child that, for whatever reason, maybe they're just learning, potty skills or something like that, have mom help or dad help, whoever, or legal guardian. Another responsibility that falls under the Minister of Children is submitting award recommendations. We actually, our kingdom has multiple youth awards. That's there's one for service, which youth can only receive once. There's one for A&S, which a youth can receive multiple times for multiple endeavors. We also have one for fighting, or any kind of martial art activity, I should say. And that's another one children can get multiples of that. And as an MOC, whether it's local, regional, or kingdom, you are actually more involved with that, and you're going to see more of what's going on with the children and stuff. And so if you notice a kid is learning embroidery skills or something like that, submit them. You may have more information than the people who aren't really focused on the kids and stuff. And kids like getting awards just like we do as grown-ups. Another thing you're going to want to do is maintain a reference library. That's fairly basic, and probably I think any officer position is going to have that. That's going to be, in our case, as a Kingdom Hospitaller, Kingdom MOC, I am a deputy seneschal or a deputy to the Kingdom Seneschal. So you definitely want the Society Seneschal's Handbook, the Seneschal's Handbook for the Kingdom, your MOC Handbook. Newcomer guides, like the Known World Handbook is helpful. Sign-in sheets, things of that nature, you need to have those on hand. Waivers, minor waivers are important to have, especially when you're going to events. When it comes to reports, and that's really where you kind of go a little bit higher up than just the local. Most activities, children's activities, are going to be run by your local MOCs for that group. Not always, but usually. When you get up to the regional levels and then the kingdom levels, that's when it becomes more of an administrative role versus an actual hosting children's activities. So we report quarterly, and that's for all the way up. My reports are quarterly to the Kingdom Seneschal, things of that nature. So you would, the local, if there's nothing to report, you still submit a report that says nothing to report. The local MOCs will report to the regionals. The regional then reports up to me. As of this moment, we do not have any regionals. The positions are open for bids. Well, that's not true. I have 2 bids for Central Regional, and I got to make a decision. But anyway, so yeah, when you're writing the reports, your reports are going to include things. If you held an event, obviously right now that's not the case, but if there was an event, what activities, what happened at the event, you'd write up things like what worked at the event, what didn't work. That helps all like fellow MOCs kind of learn what's a good idea and what's not. That'll go up to the regionals and such, and then they will pass that along. Things like how many kids participated in what, or even if there were no activities held, you can still report something that's just to talk about the kids and what's going on with the youth and stuff. As the MOCs, we don't deal with the martial art side of things, but you can still be a part of that and still talk about that and reference things. Ultimately, for planning events or planning activities at events, so as Kingdom MOC, that would fall to me for Kingdom events. To a degree, yes. It's not necessarily expected of the Kingdom MOC to actually coordinate and do all the MOC activities at an event, because most Kingdom level events are hosted by local groups. Generally, that would fall to the local MOCs. Like I said, again, the Kingdom and the regionals tend to be more administrative. However, we are fully warranted we have to be fully warranted at the MOC or at the Kingdom and regional levels in order to have our position. So yeah, we're completely viable. And there's been several times where I've done children's activities at events. The big thing as far as events go with Kingdom MOC, where we are on the hook and we definitely have to put forth an effort and put on events is for Gulf Wars. That is probably the biggest part of being the Kingdom MOC, is to coordinate with other Kingdom MOCs at Gulf Wars. For those of you who aren't aware, it's a 1 week long event, and I believe Monday through Friday they have Page School, which is youth activities that last basically throughout the day from about 8 to 1 or 2 in the afternoon, something like that. And so it's all the MOCs throughout the known world get together and try to coordinate that. Being part of one of the principal kingdoms and most other participating kingdoms, we all are in charge of at least one day. So you need to get you have to wrangle all the MOCs and try to get as much help as you can. Right now, with not knowing what's going to go on with the next Gulf Wars, it's all kind of up in the air, but we're going to, pretty soon I'll be putting the word out for that. Just, it's better be prepared than not. And that's the biggest thing there. When you're doing, you can do more local stuff if you want. As an MOC, that's fine. If you wanted to have activities while fighter practice is happening and things like that, that can happen. Those are definitely recordable, and again, follow the 2 deep rule, that kind of thing. Trying to see. Sorry, I've got my little cheat sheet here, making sure I'm not skipping over things. Yeah, I think that's the real quick overview of being a Kingdom MOC. Is just, oh, hey, yeah, there's other responsibilities. Like, yes, at Roundtable every 6 months, you hold a warranting class. As this is where it gets more specific to regionals and kingdoms again. Kingdom minister children and regionals are able to hold warranting classes and basically make sure people have their classes to become warranted MOCs. Currently, with it just being me, just do that as much as we can. It doesn't have to be at Roundtable. Typically, we do them at Roundtable. But if you need a warranting class, I have no issue with sending an email or something and trying to set something up, whether it's at an event or right now we do it via distance, online or something like that. So. But yeah, I think that's about it.
So I have a question, because I know there's not very many regional MOCs. Is it possible to be a regional MOC as well as a Barony MOC?
I think the only issue with that is that could technically be a conflict of interest if it was, if say, like, I know you're in the northern region, if you were to apply to become a northern regional MOC as well as be a local MOC in the northern region, then that wouldn't be probably a great idea, because then you'd be reporting to yourself. So that would be the only thing there. But if you were, to become the Southern Regional MOC, that I think would be a little bit more okay, because then you're not in a direct chain to yourself.
Okay. And then the other thing, I know we are planning on going to Gulf Wars, obviously. Jason has to. And so as a family, we plan on going. Yeah. And so I would like to help out with the with Gulf Wars for the Page School and everything, because I plan on taking the girls. And so when you start getting any information on that or whatever, I would love to help. I'm still very new at everything though, because I just started earlier this year and haven't had a real event yet, so I don't have a whole lot of knowledge.
Well, this is being recorded, and so I have it recorded that you said you're going to volunteer. So.
Uh-oh.
On the hook now.
Yep.
So I have a question kind of to follow up on what Jerfina was asking about. So if someone was interested in becoming a regional MOC, can you talk to us a little bit about how their role is different than Kingdom or local?
So as a regional, you're probably the one that would be least likely to have to be involved with the actual, I guess you'd say, coordination or conduction of children's activities at events. It would be much more administrative Just making sure reports are filed and then passing the reports up, making sure everybody's got all their warrants and everything, and being available to give warranting classes. Because really, at the local level, most events should be covered for children's activities by the local groups, MOCs, and at-larges. So the regionals would be more administrative in that regard. And then, like I said, at the kingdom level, it's more for the bigger kingdom level stuff. Yeah, got to be involved with children's activities. But other than that, and I'm not saying that become an MOC, but don't actually do children's activities.
Right. Okay, so if people are interested in becoming regional MOCs, do they just contact you? Do they just apply? How does that work?
Yes, you would. You can go online and fill out the application through the online format, or you can send an email to me at moc@seneschal.instiora.org, and I can send you the documents and stuff necessary if you wanted to do a hard copy application.
Okay, cool. So another thing, since we can't get together right now because COVID, what are some things that local MOCs can do right now to engage kids that you can think of, like online? Because like I was thinking about, I know for Visum Foyer Baronial being an online event, we did like a coloring book page contest. So of course, that would be for littler ones, but is there other stuff like that you can think of?
Yeah, that stuff like that would be really good. I know there's been now that we've gone more on the martialate side. I know there's been some online like youth feasts and stuff that some groups have posted and things like that. There are ways to do it to go online, and obviously with doing things online, it's not as strenuous, I guess you could say, as far as the 2 deep rule, because obviously you're in your home and the kids are in their home.
Right.
Yeah, so we could do more online things. And my local barony here in Elfsea, our Minister of Arts and Sciences actually did a youth largesse derby kind of thing to help boost the largesse for specifically for kids. But that is a way to encourage kids, is to try to get kids to start making things, especially for older kids, because that's where we seem to have more issues engaging older children at the once they hit double digits.
Yeah.
So that kind of gets a little trickier. So having things that are more geared towards the older kids and trying to get them to showcase things and have something other than, most kids look at it and they go, oh, all there is to do is fight. Well, there's a lot more, obviously, that the SCA offers than fighting. So
absolutely, yeah.
Trying to do, get-togethers via Zoom meetings or things like that, or having, like our just derbies or little competitions here and there. I think that's a really good idea to try to keep the kids engaged.
Yeah, definitely. I know Orlando also did, I mean, it's fighting based, but he has the Storm Weasels, the youth get together every once in a while and just hang out, or he'll send them a topic and be like, okay, we're going to discuss this topic and, do some research and, come prepared to talk about it, stuff like that.
Yeah, things like that are really great. Being in a pandemic currently and the way things are is so new to everybody that we're all trying our best. And at first everybody's like, no online. And now we're like, everything online.
Yeah. Well, you have to be creative and figure out, ways to keep the kids excited about it.
I let my daughter start talking right here in her room, so she's happy.
Oh, hey, there you go. Too funny.
Post-it notes on the closet door and those point controls.
Yep. Yeah, that's something else. He did a class too, Orlando did, on drills that they can do on their own in the backyard, to keep them having something to do so they feel like they're not just completely out of the SCA for this time. So.
Oh, for sure. And the big thing too is a lot of kids feel overlooked oftentimes, just because so much of what we do is obviously geared more towards adults.
Right.
So a lot of kids feel left out and things like that. So if we can, involve them more in things other than, just fighting. I'm not saying anything bad about fighting or anything martial.
But yeah.
Wonderful. but yeah, to have so much more involved with them, getting more ANS type things involved, even service. I know a lot of kids do water bearing,
Mhm.
and that's an easy
Definitely.
one for kids to get started. But things of that nature to try to keep everybody engaged and involved as much as we can, because we have to engage the children just as much as we do the adults, honestly. And
Right.
they're our future after all. Once we're all gone, in order to keep the SCA going, it's got to be the kids that are coming in.
That's right.
So,
Well, I know too, we've been doing a lot of like Bardic online and stuff. So maybe talking
youth parks
to
online would be great. Yeah.
someone local that does Bardic and be like, hey, can you host a youth Bardic thing, and you go with them and help them, of course, but yeah, it seems like there would be some things that we could do pretty easily.
Definitely.
So, alrighty, cool. Well, that was all the questions I had. Delphina, did you have any other questions?
None that I can think of right now, but you asked some questions that gave me some different insight too, so I appreciate that.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
It's always a good thing. Well, thank you so much for teaching, Silvana. I appreciate it. And if nobody has any other questions, I will let everybody go and have the rest of their evening back to spend with family. But I will get the video posted tomorrow.
All right. Thanks
Okay,
so much.
thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.